everyone, we're out here at the base of the Barrington Tops National Park. We've brought with us the 22-foot power bank and the 18-foot IronBark. We're staying out here for a few nights and we're giving the vans a real test. There's plenty of full off-road tracks that we're doing, so we're giving a real good shakedown. Behind me we've got the 18-foot IronBark, and I don't think I've showed you it yet, so let's go and have a look. So the IronBark, just like all our other vans, features our patented monocoque construction. So this is 2mm thick aluminium, which is fully welded into a single piece body. So this here is actually all robotically welded in our factory. So when you've got J-molds and seals in a van, and you're doing off-road tracks like this, it's constantly trying to tear the van apart. So it's always working against itself to pull this seal apart, but you just don't have that on our van. So you're never gonna have this water leak problem that you get, and you hear those horror stories of a written off van because it's been sitting for 3 months, you didn't know it had a water leak, and now the inside's completely rotted out. So yeah, like I said, 2mm thick aluminium, and then we've got a aluminium frame inside as well. So that's all TIG welded exactly the same as our body, and it's all connected together. So it's essentially just a roll cage on wheels, which means it's going to be really, really strong when you're doing these off-road tracks, and it's just going to give you greater stability when you're on the road too. You'll notice on the front of our vans, all of them, we've got a bit of a curve. So we've got a horizontal curve as well as a vertical curve. And you've got a little lip up the top as well as on the back there too. So that all helps with aerodynamics. So our engineers have an aeronautical background, and we've really designed these vans with aerodynamics in mind, because you just see so many horror stories when you're driving on the highway. You see vans swaying around, and we really don't want that. So we've designed these vans to be really stable, and running them through wind tunnel testing, compared to the average van on the road, they're about 1.5 times more stable than what you'd be seeing on the road. Underneath our aluminium van, we are running a hot dip galvanised steel chassis. So that is 700 grade steel, which is much higher than what you'd see on your average caravan. And to stop electrolysis between the steel and the aluminium, we're running a gasket that goes in between the chassis and the body. And if that ever did need to be replaced, we've never needed to, but you could very easily lift the whole body of the van off the chassis and then just replace the gasket. It's as easy as that. Underneath the chassis, we've got our Cruisemaster suspension, which is standard on all of our off-road range. So it comes fitted out with the XT coil spring suspension as standard, but if you would like, we can do any of the Cruisemaster kits. So from the XT or ATX range, we can do airbags, coil springs, ATM upgrades, all that kind of stuff. It's all there and set up, ready to be used. Up the front of the van, this will probably look very familiar by now. It's the same setup that we run on all our other models. So this van doesn't have a toolbox or anything on the front, so we've got the spare tyre up here, just better for weight distribution. But if you do have a front box, like I've said before, we can put that spare tyre on the back, or however you want it configured. Just like all the other vans, we've got the DO35 with your 12-pin plug and 120 amp Anderson plug, so you can charge that van up at 1200 watts as you're driving from the vehicle. You've got your safety chains, your breakaway, just legal inclusions that we have on all our vans. Then you've got a reverse camera input just here. You've got your off-road jockey wheel, and there's a little tap on the side of the drawbar here as well. Obviously this is a little bit dirtier than you'd normally see it, but like I said, we are putting these vans through the paces, and they're doing a really good job. So on this side, you got the tunnel boot. I'll show you that from the other side. It's probably a bit of a mess in here at the moment. Then you've got your 240 volt 15 amp input, all pretty straightforward standard stuff. You've got nice big windows, so you've got plenty of views coming in from the outside of the van. 2 water fill points, so 200 litre tanks on this van. You've got the separate fill points, so you can fill them up as you require. And then we've got the outdoor shower, exactly the same as all our others, so hot and cold water, nice and easy to use. And you do also just have a mains water input down here, so if you are at a site like a powered site at a caravan park, not like this one, you can plug into pressurised water and the whole van will just run straight off the water source. Just in here, we've got the back of the hot water system. You only really need to get in here for servicing requirements, but it is nice and easy if you need to. And then of course, you've got the end of the cassette toilet, so that just slides straight out. It's nice and easy to use. If you do prefer, we can do the composting toilets as well. Coming around the back, this is all pretty standard. Like I said, the spare wheels on the front of the van, but you got your standard reverse camera just up the top there. But everything else, you got this nice rear bar that you can mount and put a fair bit of weight on too. On this side of the van, like I said before, we've got the tunnel boot, so this does go right through to the other side. There's heaps of space in there. At the moment, we've just got some quick access to some recovery gear because it looks like we're definitely going to need it out here. The great thing about this awning is on a night like last night where it was raining, it was pretty miserable, all you got to do is you just pull one arm down like that and you can tighten this nut up here, and then you've got a nice lean on the awning, so you're going to have plenty of water runoff away from your campsite where you need it to be. You've got a picnic table out the front, and then you've got your little entertainment hatch, so that's got 240 volt power, 12 volts power supply, and an Anderson input for external solar as well. You've got 2 outdoor speakers, which are super easy to use through the fusion system inside. And then of course we've got our Aussie Traveller door. So as you can see, we've separated it. This is your solid security door, and then this is your mesh one, which is all still crim safe as well. It'll keep the midges out too. So you can open this up and they just click together. Obviously we've got the manual pull out step in here. We can do electric if you want, but if you're doing tracks like this, it's just going to fill up with mud, and generally speaking, it's the first thing to go wrong. Just inside the door here, we do have the controls for the awning, so if you want to bring it in and out, you just flick the switch, forget about it, and it'll close or open up by itself. Let's have a look inside. So here we are inside the 18-foot IronBark, and as you'll probably notice, it's very similar. It's actually identical to our 18-foot Ocean Breeze, so the semi-off-road and full off-road vans, you can have exactly the same layouts in them for the same size van. So this might look pretty familiar to you. We've got a nice big bench top here. Obviously you can fit a big coffee machine like this. Most people may not require one so excessive, but we do really like our coffee here. You've got induction cooktop, which will run off your 3000 watt Victron inverter with ease. We were running it all night last night. We had no issues whatsoever. Nice big sink, plenty of draining space. If you don't want that draining space and you want a bit of extra bench space, we can absolutely do that as well. But full size sink over here. Obviously you got your hot and cold water from our Swift electrical hot water system. Obviously no problem with storage. We've got heaps of overhead storage on both sides, above the lounge and above the kitchen. You've got plenty of lighting, and of course a few sets of drawers, and underneath the sink here, nice big storage compartments. If you've got the washing machine like we do in this van in here, then obviously you miss out, but if you don't need a washing machine, you can have a whole extra set of drawers in here, which is just, you never run out of space. Nice big club lounge in this van. If you don't want a club lounge, that's perfectly fine. We can do the cafe style seating or an L shape. These tables are the telescopic ones. They do move around left, right, forward and backwards, and they do drop up and down. And then you can turn this into another bed if you did need to. Above the lounge on the right there, you've got all your electrical controls, but I'll touch on that in a second. I have mentioned it in a few other videos. Up the front of the van, you've got your queen size bed, plenty of space here to walk around the bed, and you do have heaps of storage just like the rest of our van. So you've got plenty of overhead cabinetry. On either side you do have hanging space. We can put shelves in there too if you prefer. And then down the bottom here we do have a drawer which is nice and deep, goes right back. So there's plenty of storage on either side. And you do have this little cutout here, so you've got 240 volt power, 12 volt power, USBs, all that kind of stuff. So you can easily charge your devices or pop your morning coffee in there while you're having it in bed. On either side, same with the rest of our van, we've got our Aussie Traveller windows, nice and spacious, plenty of light coming in, and they've got their 3-stage locking opening system, and then you've got pull down Midgie-proof screens and pull up block out blinds, so nice and easy to use. Underneath the bed, we've got the same system as most of our other vans, so we do have a fair bit of storage, but we've also got most of our electrical components. So that's all personal storage. You can use that side for whatever you want. And in here, we've got your Victron 3000 watt inverter, your Victron solar controller, your 1200 watt DC-DC charger, and just really easy to access fuses for both 240 volt and 12 volt. So it's all nice and easy to get to, very neat and tidy, and it's just something less that you got to worry about. Coming back through the van, up above me we've got our Telair air conditioning unit, so that is reverse cycle. We were running it on heat last night, it was keeping the van nice and toasty, and that'll run perfectly fine off your Victron 3000 watt inverter. You got zoned strip lighting running all through the van, and just on my right, you may not be able to see it, but this is the TV bracket, and you'll be able to swing the TV out so you can watch it from the lounge or watch it from bed. It's nice and easy. Coming through, you got plenty of power points and reading lights just like we had above the bed. And just up here, we've got all our electrical controls. So this is the same system that we use in all our other vans, so you might be familiar with it already. But up here, we've got the Victron inverter controller, so you can have it switched on, off, or just as a 240 volt charger. So when you plug in the mains power, it'll automatically take over the van and also start charging the batteries. You've got water tank gauges up the top here, 200 litres of fresh and a 70 litre grey. And then you got your main switches. So all of our switches are wireless. So these are just double-sided tape straight onto here. So you could essentially put them wherever's most convenient for you. But all you got to do is give it a tap and your lights will turn off and you flick them back on again. Then you've got external lighting controls and your water pump, and then there's a little battery gauge here as well that you can have a look at. Up the top on the right, you've got your Fusion stereo, so that can be Bluetooth, FM, aux cord, all that kind of stuff. It is a good sound system. You've got 2 speakers inside and 2 speakers outside. Just down here on the side of the lounge, we do have the little switch for your hot water system. So that is the Swift 20 litre reservoir electric hot water system. It's really efficient, it works really, really well. And all you gotta do is flick it on 10 minutes in advance so the water's nice and warm before you go to use it. Just behind the lounge here, we've got our 200 litre Dometic fridge freezer. So this fridge works really, really well. It's very quiet, it's got a silent mode on there. It's keeping our food and our beers nice and cold. Up the top here, you got your plateless Camec microwave, so that will work perfectly fine off your 3000 watt inverter as well. And then just down on the side, as you come in the van, you do have a 2.5 litre front loader washing machine. Coming through to the ensuite, we've got your concertina doors, so they just slide open and close. And then you've got, as standard, a Dometic cassette toilet. Like I said before, if you want a composting toilet or one of those new Clasana welding toilets, we can absolutely install them for you. It's a pretty easy job. Nice big basin, plenty of bench space up here to have your toothbrushes and your hair dryers, all that kind of stuff. And of course you do have 240 volt power up the top here, as well as this little light you can move around. Plenty of storage underneath. You can open that up and open shelves on the left here. Coming through on this side, you do have your shower, so nice and spacious in there. Plenty of room to have a shower, and up above the shower, of course, you've got your roof hatch, which we have above the toilet as well, so you can open and close that and have the fan going. And you do have that nice little window here to keep the airflow coming in and out. Thanks for tuning in and checking out the 18-foot IronBark in the couples layout. And keep your eyes peeled because we will have the family layout video coming very soon. So give us a like, a subscribe, so you can get a notification when you get ththose new videos. Look at that, Kookaburra giving us a goodbye here. But yeah, if you keep in touch with us, you can send us an email, give us a phone call if you want any more information. But otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.